We continue talking about trust, and today I'm going to be talking about breaking down armors with self-trust, the walls that we build around ourselves as leaders, and even in our teams, the type of walls that they build, how we can relate to our team members and get to connect with them so that we can move forward into being a unified and a productive and a high performance team. So I'm going to be referencing two books, The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey and Dare to Lead by Dr. Brené Brown. Both of them are excellent reads, and I encourage every leader to read these books so that when you're leading, you're leading from a place of authenticity, from a place of honesty and integrity with who you are as a person and what your values are, and you bring that to the table with your team. They can see the real you, not the armored up version of you, not the version that you think other people should be, the real you. And you connect with persons and you lead from a place of heart. So these are the books that I'll be referencing today, and I encourage again every leader to read these. So what is armoring up? Armoring up is a form of self-protection. It's a way that we protect ourselves. And it's what we do when we're generally operating from a place of fear, or whether we have some high negative emotion like anxiety. And earlier I was speaking to you about being in different, about team dynamics and the different stages when you're forming a team. And in the storming or the dissatisfaction phase, which is the second phase, people tend to use armoring a lot in their interactions, whether as team members or even worse, as a leader. And what it is that they're fearful about how they're being perceived, but also it could be that they're juggling for power. And while they're juggling for power, they're thinking about, how are other persons thinking about me? How am I being viewed? And maybe this is why they're being so aggressive. But armoring could also be withdrawal. You're in the same group dynamic, but you are withdrawing, you're protecting yourself by staying out of the drama, as it were. You're unwilling to put yourself out there. And armoring is just really building a wall around you, a wall that says, I'm protecting myself and I'm keeping you out. But especially as a leader, armoring prevents you from growing. It prevents you from connecting with other persons. It prevents you from being you. You're not connecting with your own self. You're hiding yourself behind these walls because you feel that you may not be appreciated. You feel that maybe you're not good enough. You feel that maybe you're not up to the task. Whatever it is, you aren't being you. You're not operating from a place of integrity and honesty. You're operating from a place of fear and from a place of a very high negative emotion, to the point where you feel you need to protect yourself. And what we want to say is that armoring up, especially as a leader, you can't listen to your team members, because now all of what you're hearing is skewed by your own fears, by your own concerns and your own interpretations. And understand, leaders, that especially when you're in the storming and dissatisfaction phase, persons have fears, persons have concerns, persons have uncertainties that they're still going through. They're still juggling for power. They're still wanting to be seen, wanting to be valued. And as a leader, especially when persons are going through those things, your job is to step up, to not take things personal, to hear them and to help to alleviate some of those fears. So how do we go about doing that? Well, leaders must either invest a reasonable amount of time attending to the fears and the feelings of their team members, or alternately, you can squander an unreasonable amount of time trying to manage ineffective and unproductive behavior. Again, stage 2, the storming or dissatisfaction phase. Now, if you spend that time listening to your team members, understanding where they're coming from, showing them that you can be trusted, that you do have their best interest at heart, that the changes that are occurring are in everybody's best interest, both theirs and the wider team and the organization. Spend that time building trust. Then you will not have to spend so much time dealing with the armoring behavior, the negative attitudes, the unproductiveness, the low performance that you ultimately will get, because, you know, we will say in the trust relationship, Stephen Covey speaks about this in The Speed of Trust, that trust can either be a multiplier or the lack of trust is a tax. So what we want you to do is to get that multiplier effect by building trust. So what is trust? Trust is, well, this is my definition, competence plus confidence. Stephen Covey says competence plus character. So I say confidence in who you are and what you bring to the table, and that I can trust you. Competence, you can do what you say you should be doing. You have the ability, you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you're able to do this. And confidence in who you are as a person. I trust you, I believe in you, I believe what you say to be true. So competence plus confidence, or as Stephen Covey says, competence plus character. So as I was saying earlier, when you have that trust, what's the benefit? It increases your performance. Things move at a much faster pace. Things are happening, things are going the way they ought to be going. When you don't have trust, then it's like a tax. Everybody is CYA covering their, you know what, right? They're not lifting a finger, they're not moving a pen until every I is dotted and every T is crossed. Things are moving slower than the pace of molasses. How painful was it to just hear me speak that slowly? Things are moving slower than the pace of molasses. It's drip, 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 drip. Because persons are unwilling to take chances on your word. There is no trust, there is no belief that what you say you will do. There is no belief that you have my back, that you have my best interest. But when you do have that trust, when you do believe that, persons are moving rapidly. They're taking chances because they trust that you have them, that what you say you will do. So, as a leader, Jack Welch speaks about it, that building self-confidence in others is a huge part of leadership. And Cardinal Durrett says, a man who doesn't trust himself can never really trust anyone else. So what you want to do as the leader is to develop the self-trust in your team members, build their confidence in their abilities, in their skills, in their relationships with other members of the team, in their relationships with you as the leader. How do you get them to start trusting again? First, by trusting themselves and what they can do and that they can be trustworthy, but also in trusting others and what they say and who they are and what they add to the table. And the more time you spend building up your leaders. So for example, let me give you an example. You are in an environment where persons want to reduce the number of errors that are made. But now, because of their fear of making errors, they come to you to check every single thing before they put it through. And while if it were a case where you have multiple errors and the errors are very costly, you perhaps would want to have that system. It's not productive. Persons need to operate at the level where they know that what they're sending through is accurate, is correct. They have that confidence. And if they have that confidence and they can cut you out for verifying and what they're sending is actually accurate, then that moves things along much faster, and it relieves some of the burden on you as the leader for checking every single thing before it goes through. So if you can develop that confidence in your team members, their aptitude, their skill, their knowledge, their expertise, and then that confidence in themselves that they know this material and what they're sending through is indeed accurate, then that moves things along. So this is an example of both the multiplier effect, if you can move things along, or the tax where there's a lack of trust. So what we're really building as leaders is credibility. Credibility so that we can be trusted. So there are 4 cores of credibility according to Dr. Stephen Covey from The Speed of Trust. And this is integrity, intent, character, and capabilities, and results. So integrity is the courage to act according to your values and beliefs, often mistaken with honesty. Honesty is a part of it, but really it's about acting in accordance with who you are and what you believe to be true. That is integrity. It's about being congruent. We'll talk a little bit about that next. Intent. What are your motives? What are your agendas? And the resulting behavior that comes from that. So congruence is actually a combination of the two. This is who I say I am, integrity, and my intention, and then my behaviors. Are my behaviors in accordance with who I say I am and what I believe? So we would say character. Remember I said trust equals competence plus character according to Stephen Covey. So character would include integrity and your intent. What is your intention and what do you believe? Then we have your capabilities, your abilities, your knowledge, your skills, your style. These are the things that inspire confidence in persons that you can do the job. I know you can do the job because you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have the experience. I'm confident in you and your abilities. And then you have the results. Are you actually doing what you say you're going to do? It's your performance or your track record, your history. Are you achieving the results that you promised? These are things that lift your credibility, that allow persons to believe in you, that allow persons to trust you. So let's get a little bit into it. So this is adapted from the 4 credibilities from The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. So we have trust as the overarching, the top level. And then what is trust? Character plus competence. I say confidence and competence. So character plus competence. And then within and under that, we speak about the different things. So integrity, honesty, being fair, being authentic, being true to who you are. Not what everybody else thinks you should be, but who am I? What do I believe in? What are my values? Are my values in alignment with the organization? Are my values in alignment with the team? Do I have to become a new person? Earlier I spoke with you about when you're hiring persons, you first have to know what are the values that support the vision of the organization, of the team, and you hire according to that. At very minimum, you're looking at the capabilities of the person. But if those persons don't share your values, then you'll be pulling in this direction and your team members will be pulling in another direction, and eventually you will tear the fabric of the team. So honesty, fairness, authenticity. We want you to be congruent as an individual. Your behavior must match who you say you are. What is your intent? What is your motive, they would say in the court of law? What did you really mean to do? Sometimes we really mean to do well and it doesn't work out so well, and that's forgivable. But when our intention was really to harm and to hurt and to be mean and it's a power struggle, then that's a different dynamic that is playing out there. So what is your motive and how transparent are you about that? And what's the behavior that we see on account of that? So that deals with who you are as a person, your character. Now we're talking about your skills, your capabilities. What do you know? What is your experience? What is your training, your knowledge? What do you bring to the table in terms of your talent? That's your capability. And ultimately, what matters? Results. Results is what we call the proof, the evidence. What are you showing? What is your reputation? It doesn't matter what you say to me now. What is your history? What is your record of performance? Why should I believe you? What's the level of credibility that you bring to the table? Your reputation speaks to your character and the history of how you interacted with persons and how persons interacted with you and what they have to say about you. Your credibility, your performance, your track record. Have you really been doing the things that you say you're going to do? Those are the things that are important. And especially when you're dealing with a team that is in the storming, dissatisfaction phase, you become slightly larger than life when you are credible, when you are believed, when you are trusted. And you have to become a trustworthy person if you want to move your team from that storming, dissatisfied, unproductive phase to that norming where we're getting into our groove and ultimately to that high performance phase. So it starts with you as the leader. You can't expect your team members to be what you are not. You as the leader, you have to look within yourself. What do I bring to the table? Why should anyone believe me? Why should anyone trust me? How should I be in order for persons to trust me? Who do I need to become? How should I operate? And in doing that, you're doing a lot of self-reflection. You're removing the armors. You're taking them down piece by piece. You're allowing yourself to become vulnerable. I spoke about vulnerability as well. Putting yourself out there, putting truth out there, and operating from a space of integrity and ability. You can do the job, you have the skills, and you are the right person, you have the right character for it. So this is where I will leave you. Until next time, from us at the Influence Hub to your unlimited possibilities. Take care. Bye-bye.